Welcome to a special emergency edition of the Spotrac podcast, the James Harden trade edition. We're going to shake it up a little bit here and just kind of go live as we figure this out, unpack these layers, and actually enter this into Spotrac's system. Scott's on the other line, literally typing away as we speak, so I'm going to bother him with whatever details he has. I believe, Scott, we're up to 4 teams. Can you kind of lay out what you know as you continue to work here?
Yeah, so things are coming in here based on what I'm seeing from all the reporters that are furiously tweeting out here are Harden to the Nets, and then Houston gets back Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Kurucs, apologize for the last name there, 3 Brooklyn first-rounders that are unprotected, a Milwaukee first-round pick that is from Cleveland via Milwaukee.
Where does that even come from?
and that's a 2022 pick. So let me rewind there.
So
those
it's
3
4
first-round picks. So those 3 firsts from Brooklyn are a 22, a 24, 26. Then it's a first from Milwaukee, which is a 22 unprotected. So 4 first rounds total. And 4 first-round swaps with Brooklyn in 21, 23, 25, and 27. So that means Houston would have the right to swap if their pick was better than Brooklyn or vice versa. So that is what
One
Houston
more
gets
time,
back.
give me the players. Harden to Brooklyn, Oladipo to Houston, Exum to Houston.
Yes.
Keep going.
Kurucs to Houston from Brooklyn.
Okay.
So now I said Oladipo in there, so that means the Pacers are involved. So the Pacers are getting Karis LeVert and a second rounder.
Wow.
And then
this feels like a win for Indy.
Then because I said Dante Exum in there, that means the Cavaliers are involved, which they're getting Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince. So
how many big men do Cleveland need? What the hell is happening?
well,
they understand it's a 3-point game now, right? I mean, oh my God.
They do, but Kevin Love has had a lot of injury issues.
Well, I get it, but they've got Drummond. They just gave away Thompson. It just feels like they're just rotating big men out of there. Okay, Allen to Cleveland. I'm missing the name we can't pronounce. Kurucs. He's going to Houston. Okay, so Houston is getting 3 players, 4 firsts.
Getting 3. Yep. And 4 first-round swaps.
And 4 swaps. Indy's getting just LeVert. So it's LeVert for Oladipo straight up for Indy?
And Indy gets a second rounder as well in there.
Okay.
I don't know from who yet. I'm waiting to find out who is sending that second rounder. But yeah, on the fly here, Houston gets some nice pieces. They get the rights to Oladipo, who is going to be a free agent. They didn't.
No, that makes sense to me. That's too. Wow, boy, do you like Oladipo more than LeVert though?
They must see something in him that they want him, but the fact that
I think it's expiring. That's what they want. This feels like a total dump, doesn't it?
Well, it's expiring,
right.
And again, they get the rights to him, so if they want to re-sign him, they can use that. Or
right.
if they're playing the game in free agency, that's a sign and trade potential where they could get something back for him in a sign and trade. If we go down that road again, Pacers get.
This is not what I expected at all, Scott. I expected Houston to get a haul of game-ready players. That's not what they did.
No, I think what they are realizing is that they need to retool.
They're bad
from the ground up. They're bad. They need to retool from the ground up. What they're doing is they're securing themselves with that pick swap that we talked about earlier today, where if their pick ends up going to Oklahoma City, they at least have the right to swap in 2021. They're getting 2 first rounders in 2022. So, that allows them to sort of restock there. And again, they don't have to use those. They can use those as trade bait to bring on someone else now. But the fact that they have all these first rounders stockpiled and swap picks stockpiled for the next, 7 years here, gives them a little bit of flexibility, whether they want to trade, they want to draft somebody. And keep in mind that gets us to when high school kids can potentially come out. So, it allows them a lot of flexibility. It moves Harden off their books for the foreseeable future. Like you said, Oladipo is an expiring contract. You're getting Dante Exum, who has been good, but he's had some injury issues. He's on the books just for this year, so he'll be expiring.
He comes from Cleveland, correct, Scott?
He comes from Cleveland, correct.
Okay, I'm still trying to hash this out here in front of my eyes. Oladipo, Indy to Houston. Boy, I did not think it was going to need to take four teams. This is something.
Well, I think what ended up happening is knowing that Houston had to make this deal with Brooklyn or Philly that was coming through, back and forth with the reports.
Yeah.
I think teams realized, all right, if this is going to happen, we want to jump in and get who we can right now. And obviously things have to work out with trade matching salaries across all of the teams there. But I think Cleveland was realizing, all right, Kevin Love has been injured and Drummond has been taking a lot of time in there. Let's bring in Allen. They also brought in Torian Prince, who I like. So they're bringing in two pieces that could fit in well with that team. Pacers, LeVert with Sabonis and Miles Turner. That's a team that they didn't want to give the extension to Oladipo. It sounded like they weren't going to keep him anyways after this season. So why not bring in someone that is under contract, who you think is going to even raise your level even higher?
I like that he's included here because he was not long for that team, and Houston. That's a nice get for Houston. I'll be honest. I'm not sure if I like it more than LeVert, Scott, but boy, why not just go LeVert and Allen here if you're Houston? That's a little confusing to me. I think you're right. I think this is a give up move. It feels that way, doesn't it?
It definitely does. The fact that the Brooklyn Nets moved Allen and Prince and LeVert to get Harden, but Allen and Prince are not going back to Houston in the deal. Sounds like they want to retool and they just want to go, get as many picks as possible and restructure from the ground up. So that's going to be interesting to see where things move forward. We'll see how Oladipo fits in there. We'll see with Harden on the Nets now. That's going to be interesting. Obviously with Kyrie not being there.
Hope you don't own Joe Harris in fantasy leagues. he's done shooting.
Yeah, so it's going to be it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. Durant and Harden together. We'll see how they can gel together. And Brooklyn was not known for their defense beforehand, but the fact that they brought Harden and no one else, and they got rid of some of their defensive prowess with Allen and Prince there, they are definitely not going to be top of the pile on defense moving forward. But maybe they don't care.
Yeah, they're going to score. They're going to score 125.
Right,
is the plan for sure. Okay, so Brooklyn gets just Harden here, correct?
Brooklyn gets.
Let's
just
recap
Harden.
here. I've got a tweet ready to roll. James Harden to Brooklyn, Oladipo to Houston, Karooks to Houston, Exum to Houston, Jared Allen to Cleveland, Karis LeVert to Indy with a second-round pick that's unknown at this point. We've got 4 first swaps from Brooklyn to Houston in 21, 23, 25, and 27. We've got 3 first-round picks in 22, 24, and 26 from Brooklyn to Houston. Brooklyn gave up too much. I'm going to say this out loud. You included 2 other teams, and you still gave up too much, in my opinion. The reason you bring in other teams is to give up less. They lost 2. Their 6th and 7th man. They lost 3 first and 4 swaps. Man, that's too much.
Yeah,
that's too much here. Indy didn't give up a pick at all.
Brooklyn is going to have to hope this doesn't turn into the KG Paul Pierce trade where they gave up an onslaught and then it backfired on them, and then they were hurting for the next few years, and then all of a sudden they were able to start drafting some of these kids, Allen Levert and those guys.
Well, it's not like this team is squeaky clean right now with the Kyrie situation either. I mean, there's already kind of a mess to clean up. So, yeah, you're right that this is risky. I get it, though. If you can get James Harden, you get James Harden. I mean, the same conversations are being had with Deshaun Watson, Is there really a too much when it comes to that? All right, this is big. Do we think it's done? Do we think it's official? This happens so much in the NBA, Scott, where we go to sit down and document something and then another team comes in or another pick comes in. Do we think this is it?
Yeah, this is probably it for right now. If not, we can jump on and talk some more. But from the looks of it, that this is probably what it's going to be. And Harden gets out, and wow, we're going to see how the Nets in Houston and Indiana and Cleveland go from here. And this may be the domino effect of what is to come if other teams realize they need to start jockeying, especially once those trade restrictions start opening up of those free agents. So this may just be the tip of the iceberg.
Yep. We'll see.
We shall.
The NBA never disappoints. Good stuff, Scott. We'll be back soon.
All right, thanks.